What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Puzzle Huddle Behind the Scenes. I'm here with my wife. This is our 3-year anniversary as a business. We launched the business in 2018, right around the January, February timeframe. So we wanted to look back, capture some reflections, tell a couple stories, and walk us through some of the memories we've had providing puzzles and children's products from our home over the past 3 years.
So I have the honor of asking Matthew some questions. He does not know what these questions are, no advance notice, but I know this is a really exciting time for you. 3 years ago, I don't think you would have thought that you would be here physically, like in DC, but also here in terms of the progression and success of Puzzle Huddle. So I want to just acknowledge that these past couple of months you've had a lot of, and I'm saying you because you've been on a lot of shows, but Matthew's had a lot of media coverage, and that was on another YouTube video.
So man, sounds like it's been a whirlwind the past couple of days.
Yeah, we had a wonderful holiday season. We were exposed to a lot of new customers. People saw that we were featured in O Magazine as one of Oprah's favorite things. Page 43. How awesome is that? We were also featured in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Essence Magazine. We were on NPR, on the Fox News station in DC, on the NBC News station in Detroit, on just a lot of different stations.
Hi, I'm Matthew Goins.
And I'm Marnell Goins.
We're the owners of Puzzle Huddle. Puzzle Huddle is a diversity-focused children's product company. We make puzzles, blankets, pillows, and t-shirts, all with diversity as the focus.
So we reach more people than we ever could fathom we could reach through some of these partners and exposure. So it's been a really good time, man, meeting new people and shipping more products to more families this year.
Awesome, man. So what's the next plans ahead, man?
Well, we have a lot of interest and concern because, you know, the holiday shipping, there was a lot of log jam and delays. So we're clearing up some email, make sure everybody got the products that they were planning and hoping to receive through the holidays. We're making sure all those orders are completed and delivered to those homes. And then we're going to start planning for the new year. Black History Month is very early in the calendar, so we have some cool products that we're going to sort of share with the world and hopefully provide more valuable products to the homes and help people celebrate Black History Month.
All right, man. Sounds like you got it all in tow.
Yeah, man. We're having a good time, man. Thanks for everybody for being a blessing to us, man. Everybody that follows us, connects with us, taps on our pictures and our photos, man, and help make our business go. We really appreciate all the love and support.
And the story is quite similar. We kind of know how you started the company and why you started the company, but I want to kind of explore a little bit more those kind of first steps, those first iterations of Puzzle Huddle. I don't know if the public necessarily knows about what you did or how you did it. So you had this idea, you started cutting these puzzles out of like scissors and all sorts of materials on a cutting board that broke a number of times. So kind of walk me through this process. Like you came up with this idea and you decided that you were going to make these puzzles. Did you actually think that you could make a puzzle with a knife and like some thick paper on a cutting board?
Like, it's weird. I have an interesting thing. Like I have a craftiness like in my brain where I want to solve problems with crafts. Like it's an interesting trait considering my African-American maleness. That's not something you're going to normally associate with that. And I like to go to the gym. So you got the gym guy, African-American male, but I'm into crafts. So I thought I could print some images from the internet, glue them to cardboard. I thought I could make a puzzle like you would buy at the store. I thought for sure. Like I drew up jigsaw pattern. Like it's a pattern that you could replicate, like it's got curves and the things have to lock together. So I thought I could draw it and then cut it and that it would be like something I would buy from the store.
So I remember this, and I just remember looking at you trying to understand what was going through your mind. Like, I guess you thought that you would actually get the exact shape and it would be smooth, because the end result was not that. Yeah,
I made a lot of, I don't want to say, but they weren't a good representation of a puzzle.
Right.
So I thought I needed a sharper blade, so I bought scissors and I bought an X-Acto knife and it was almost like stencil chiseling a puzzle just to make.
Which is why my cutting board broke. So I'm trying to make dinner one night and like cut some vegetables on the cutting board and it just broke in half. And I think at that point I realized that you've been using the cutting board with like these really hard knives in order to make these puzzles.
Like, I'm not scared of being bad at stuff. So I thought, I'm bad at this now, but I'll get, eventually by the 50th one, I'll be really good at it. So I thought of it as process, like I'm going to do some not good puzzles en route to doing them very well.
Right.
So I was excited about the bad ones.
Yeah, but you never quite got to the good ones. Like there was a point where you were like, okay, this is just not working. Like the kids were still playing with them. It may have been just one at the time. And she was putting the pieces together. And I think at some point you realized, if I want to have these done professionally, I need to look at a professional.
And I was keeping them in Ziploc bags because if you make it at home, it doesn't come with a box. So we was putting.
Right. And you had a real investment in it because you made it yourself. So if you lost a piece, then you were just like, I worked so hard on this,
and I wanted the kids to be careful with them. I don't know where I was going with that idea, but without completely being able to telegraph what was going to happen, I thought I was going to make like puzzles that you could put together and that would like be timeless, durable things, but no.
But you didn't let go of the puzzle idea. I think that was the main foundation of it. I mean, you're crafty, and so at some point I think you realize, okay, if I have a professional still kind of implement this idea that I have, it'll still kind of fit with what you were thinking in your head.
Yeah, because as I was telling people about them, the idea I think was so unique that people would ask, if they could have one, or if I could make one for the child in their network, or if I was planning on selling them one day. And I was spending 8, 9, 10 hours to make one puzzle, and at that point, if I price my time at $10 an hour, I've made $100 puzzle. So I couldn't, like, that wasn't a business. I can't sell $100 puzzles that I made out of cardboard.
Right.
So that idea
in Ziploc bag.
And I'm going to hand it to you in a Ziploc, and I would sign it or something, but to make it, but no, that wasn't a business.
And I think it's important that people understand that you didn't go from thinking about this idea to all of a sudden having like a verified Instagram account. So you went from, let me cut these puzzles out, it didn't work, let me cut some more out, and then you did that a bunch of times and it still didn't work. And then I think phase 2-ish was when you decided that you needed to find a manufacturer. Can you tell us about what those puzzles look like, the first set of Puzzle Huddle puzzles, and then how you pack those and what it looked like, especially compared to right now?
Yeah, that first wave of puzzles. So not knowing anything about the toy industry or the puzzle industry or manufacturing, I wasn't an expert in any of that stuff. So I found a printer that would print. They were selling puzzles that were, I think, advertised. They were supposed to be wedding invitations or baby announcements. So they were about this big. And I thought, and it was a good price. I could get 12 of them at a very reasonable cost. But I learned that as they were sending it to me, they weren't packaged. It was just a stack of 12 puzzles, each with 12 pieces, and I needed to put them in cartons or somehow package them to share with. Yeah. So that I didn't know what to do. So I found some snack bags. It's just a little, and I would shimmy the puzzle inside of the snack bag. It was a self-sealing, so you could pull the thing off and seal it. And because they were sold as wedding invitations, it actually fit perfectly inside of a wedding envelope. So I could compress it in the wedding envelope, stick it in a mailer, and we got started selling puzzles that were designed to be wedding invitations, folded in wedding envelopes, and sold on our website. And that was the first thing we did. But putting a puzzle in a plastic bag, then folding it and sticking it in a wedding envelope, and doing that every night for several hours, we couldn't win. That was not a win.
We did it together after the kids went to sleep. Like, all right, now it's time to stuff puzzles in these envelopes, and it's really tight. Like, so you have to like hold it, shimmy it in there, and then seal it, and then put it in the envelope. But people were still buying them. And I know one of my friends, the initial feedback was, this is great, but it'd be awesome if we could see what puzzle it was on the outside, if I could give it as a gift, because it's a wedding envelope.
When I thought I was like killing the game, we bought some stickers, some little circle stickers that said Puzzle Huddle. So it's a wedding envelope with a sticker, a circle sticker that said Puzzle Huddle on the top, and that's what we sold for 3, 4, 5 months until we found like a better solution. So yeah, wedding invitation puzzles.
Yeah, and could you talk a little bit, like you talked about the process to kind of get to those wedding invitation puzzles, but how did you pick the illustrations? Because I know sometimes people will send you messages about who your artist is. That ballerina puzzle is pretty popular. But in the beginning stages, how did you choose the illustrations? What were your disasters? And what were some of the successes that you had in terms of picking some good illustrations for your puzzles?
So the first puzzle we saw, the image was it's a stock image that you can purchase online. All you need to do is buy the upgraded package so that you have the commercial rights to the image. So it's an image I found on somebody's website that was sold, and anybody can buy it and sell it. So after that was available, I thought, well, we need different concepts. And the road to finding good illustrations is wow, we had a lot of bad experiences. For example, I got something that seemed to be a combination of clip art. It was different pieces of different illustrations all kind of commingled together to create what I wanted. So I said, I want a little boy that is aspiring to be a president. And I reached out to an artist, and what they sent me was bits and pieces of different things stuck together on an image palette. But I didn't know any better, so that looking back, that stuff looks really like it's not what something we could build a business on.
And with those types of images, like when you first look at it, you just know it's wrong, like something is wrong with it, but you can't necessarily tell until maybe days later after you processed that you've seen these images.
It's a combination of clip art.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time, but that's what it was.
I want to kind of revisit the beginning stages a little bit, especially as you started to sell these puzzles and you realized that people were buying them. There was a point in time where you decided that you needed to put this stuff that you were doing on social media. And I remember in Sacramento, we were going to the gym and you brought some puzzles with you. And I think you put a puzzle on one of the gym benches or something with some barbells in the back, and you were snapping pictures. And this is not with your phone camera. This is with like a Nikon D90 or something. Can you talk a little bit about your thought process when you were doing social media, when you initially started versus right now, 3 years in, what you've learned, how you developed?
Wow, in the beginning, so I was not a social media professional. I didn't know how to activate on social media to help create a business result. So I knew I needed to share these products somehow, and it was going to be social media. It was going to be the most cost-effective way to do it because I can't afford a Super Bowl commercial. So getting visual representations of the puzzle, I thought it would be cool to just take the puzzle everywhere I went and take pictures of the puzzles, each place that I needed to go. So I took them to the grocery store, and I thought. And
tell us about what it looked like with the grocery store.
And this was like a DSLR, like a camera.
Right.
So I had the puzzle. First, I tried it in like the freezer section, but that you can't get a good photo. So I took it to like the produce. So I put the puzzle in the apples, and I thought like a marketing hook would be like a puzzle a day, similar to apple a day. So I put the puzzle into the apples, and I took a couple of, and I thought that was like good stuff, but it turns out that's not a great way to create a marketing plan. So, and we took puzzles to the gym. I took puzzles to the post office. I took puzzles to really everywhere I was going, and just kind of put them in that environment, thinking that's how you. But we learn. And another interesting kind of wave was, how frequently do you post? We learned how to post frequently and with interestingness. But in the beginning, do we post once a week? Post twice a week, and feeling like that's once a week might be too much. Like you don't want to overwhelm your audience with more than one. But we learn how to make it interesting and viable to be able to share it every day. We post every day, and that's what's really helped us connect with our our customers and families and everybody on the internet.
Right, and you don't just post pictures of puzzles, you post pictures of customers with the puzzles and children enjoying the puzzles, which I think is much more intimate than just a puzzle in the freezer section at the grocery store.
That puzzle in the apples. My Lord. But yeah, we're blessed that families share so many photos with us that helps us kind of fill our platform with lifestyle content that the families are sending us, the joy that their kids are having with the puzzles. They capture that and they send those photos to us, and that really helps us have good, interesting stuff to share, because there's a joy in the experience that's worth capturing.
I mean, it seems like you're managing the growth well in terms of developing higher quality puzzles, better illustrations, managing your social media posts. The last thing, though, that we didn't get an opportunity to talk about was trips to the post office and trips to UPS, because initially when you first started out, you would go to the post office and go to UPS and have like one bag and drop off a couple of puzzles. Now, however, that has changed. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I used to get such like gratification out of like going the physical drive to the post office and the UPS to drop off my ship. It felt like a physical reconciliation of what I was doing, because other than that, it's just things on the internet, and I didn't have a physical connection to it. So I enjoyed driving to take, in the beginning, my 2 puzzles that came, those orders that day, taking them to the post office or UPS. But as we got to a certain level of success, like the car was getting overwhelmed, and the kids were helping me unload, and it was starting to be just a bit cumbersome.
You had to take the car seats out every time.
Yeah, I was taking the car seats out. I was having puzzles falling and hit me in the back of the head. Making it happen in the car was no longer. And then I would spend 30 minutes unloading at the post office, and they're not really prepared for you to pull up in your truck, and like that's not how they expect to receive bundles of shipments. So thank goodness. People told me forever, just have the post office come to your house.
Because sometimes they would have you actually scan all the items too at the same time.
Lord, we hit the post office in the neighborhood, and this lady, very nice lady, this woman asked, and more than one time, that if I could scan the packages myself. And I was so happy to just have a business that I'll scan them. Like I have a business.
And so you'd be gone like a good hour. They're like, he just went to the post office up the street. What is even happening? And now this man turns out he's a whole employee.
Yeah, I'm back behind the counter. I'm pushing this thing to the back. They like
literally, like that's not a joke. Like literally pushing it to the back.
Hey, bro, come get it.
You should just deliver it too.
But they're such wonderful people, and I'm excited to have the business. So my enthusiastic answer was yes. Teach me how to scan the thing. Give me what you hit that. Come on, do that. And I'm scanning. And then people think I work there. So now other people ask me, can I get the package from their PO box, and they bring me the little pink slip.
Said yes.
Like I can't take your pink slip of paper, lady. I'm just shipping my puzzles.
But now you have the post office come every day, UPS comes every day, and I think that makes it a bit easier for you to manage.
Yeah, and we meet the most fantastic people. We'll have to do a whole nother episode about the personalities we experience in our UPS and post office drivers, because we get wonderfully interesting and fantastic. Like the service is great, but then the quality of the person, it has its own narrative to it. So I'll tell you about the postman that's a wrestler. That's a different episode when I tell y'all about the wrestling professional that comes to get our mail.
Is there any final word of encouragement that you would want to leave anyone who's starting their own business? I think it's evident that you experienced a lot of frustrations and a lot of setbacks, and but you were okay with that. Like that was expected for growth. But is there anything additional that you would want to say to anyone who's just starting out or who's maybe midway through starting a business that you would want to say to them?
One thing that really helps me is, hopefully if you're going to start a business, do something that you really enjoy doing, so that the financial gain isn't the only thing that serves as motivation. I would have loved this idea. It's important to be able to have a profitable business to provide resources for my family. But I love this idea even without the financial gain. I'm not sure if I could have invested the time and energy into it without the potential for financial gain. But the idea at its basic level, I love it, and I would have loved to pursue it even at my expense. Thank goodness I could transition it and turn it into a profitable business. But if this idea cost me money, I still love it. So it's exciting to do something that I love. And then too, if God gives you a vision, well, you had better get busy working on it, because not doing this idea was just keeping me, I was too distracted by the idea and not moving forward. Moving forward was the only way I could give myself a mental break. So I kind of God had an interesting way of negotiating with me in terms of getting me motivated to get started doing this.
Thank you so much for sharing how Puzzle Huddle got started with the Puzzle Huddle family. And we really appreciate the encouragement as well as just the openness that you shared with us. To all of those who are watching, we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. We thank you, and we hope to see you on our next episode.
I want to thank my wife on this YouTube. Never once did she tell me to stop. Not one time, none, did she say, bro, this not gonna work. You should do something else with your time. She has never said that. I don't know if she ever thought it, but she did never say that to me. So thank goodness I'd have had her support the whole time.
Follow Puzzle Huddle.
Thank you so much for spending time with us, for checking out our videos. We really appreciate your time, your interest, and having you participate in our content.
Please follow us at Puzzle Huddle, like, click, and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.